From the murky waters of the sportsman's paradise, stories emerge. Stories of the generations of people who have shared in the bounties of the land. Stories of communities that have persevered through natural disasters. Stories of the abundance of fish, wildlife, and adventures that create an ecosystem rich in diversity. And from the silted banks of the mighty Mississippi to the soggy marsh bottoms, from the tops of the towering pine forest to the depths of the salty Gulf, human and animal have shared in this fortune for centuries. Enjoy these stories as told by outdoor journalists who travel across our state documenting the adventure, sportsmanship, and heritage that make us Bayou Wild.
Welcome to Bayou Wild TV. I'm Martha Spencer here with Don Dubuque, and we're of course at our home base of Morton Seafood Restaurant in Madisonville, right along the Tchefuncte River. Coming up this week on Bayou Wild.
Here we have this scale. It's native from China. I have it seen also in Japan. And here we just found it in Plaquemines Parish. But by the end of the growing season, think about October or November, you have all these scales covering this plant. So that may be one of the factors why this plant is dying. Over time, these scales will be depleting the energy of Roseau.
And from there, we're going to let you meet the Hunter of the Year for 2017, a young man by the name of Seth Gottardi, and his grandfather Rick, who were honored in Alexandria at the Louisiana Outdoor Writers Association convention last year. He's also a baseball pitcher for North Shore High, a great team. You'll love meeting him.
We got out there late, and then got set up. The turkeys were gobbling by the time we set up, and then my grandpa started calling, and that's when the turkey came in.
If you're hungry, we'll get you hungrier.
So we're here in the kitchen at Crawfish Haven, and we're making a crawfish omelet with berry tooth. Heating up the crawfish tails from the leftover boil.
Here's how I guarantee my crawfish tastes great every time. I use what the pros use. I use Louisiana Fish Fry brand seafood boil. Why do the pros use Louisiana Fish Fry seafood boil?
Because, guys, it has more herbs and spices.
It has a much better flavor.
It's easy, just pour and boil.
Louisiana Fish Fry brand seafood boil. Find the yellow bag, and pour and boil for great crawfish every time.
In 1967, Dutch Stogner realized his dream to run his own meat market. 50 years and 3 generations later, Double D and the Stogner family still operate with Dutch's original commitment to quality. Pick up some Double D sausage today and share your good times with us on Facebook.
Hi, I'm Donnie Rouse. There are a lot of different reasons to shop at Rouse's.
It's the people. Everybody that works here is just so nice.
Our stores get deliveries 7 days a week.
They have such a wide variety at Rouse's. Everything's in stock. I mean, everything.
We use Rouse family recipes and ingredients found right here in the store.
It's the food. Rouse's food tastes like homemade.
And they're local.
Like us.
We also have great prices.
That's the difference Rouse's makes.
Louisianians know the importance of our state's coast, from the coastal towns and communities that support residents and tourism to the burgeoning petrochemical industry, from the millions of birds, waterfowl, and fish that thrive in its rivers, bayous, and marshes, to the plants that blossom in its rich silted soil, from the tiniest of microorganisms to the 2,000-ton oil tankers. Our state's coast is a complex working system, a regional gumbo, and our home. But there is a new threat. This new threat cannot be detected by radar, was not caused by catastrophe, and is not created by man. Rather, a small insect known as Phragmites Scale is infesting thousands of acres of Roseau cane, the dominant vegetation in the Mississippi River Delta.
Back in the fall of 2016, Mr. Earl Armstrong and Trevor Victoriano, one of our technician supervisors that work in the field, started noticing cane dying off in rapid numbers, rapid amounts over vast areas. And they kind of brought it to our attention and said, hey, you need to get down there, we need to take a look at this, we got a serious issue. So when we got down there, we started investigating it. We knew we had a problem, but we couldn't identify what the problem is. They found an insect, they found something on the cane, but it was to identify it. We've identified that problem, and we're working with LSU to monitor the program, monitor the scale, its development, its spread, and to find solutions.
The Phragmites Scale, more commonly known as Roseau Cane Mealy Bug, is believed to have originated from China and Japan, an area of the world where roseau is harvested for use in many industrial and agricultural applications. But here along our coast, the roseau cane is an integral part of keeping the Louisiana coast intact. Unlike some marsh vegetation, roseau cane is one of the most erosion-resistant marsh plants. It assists in building land by trapping Mississippi River sediment. It serves as habitat for birds and fish. It can grow in salt and freshwater environments, and it serves as the first main buffer for our inland communities from tropical storm surges.
And so this is certainly a new threat to coastal restoration and coastal protection, something we've got to keep a close eye on, and something that we're certainly very interested in supporting, getting to the answers that we need to ensure that we can get ahead of this, hopefully, and stem the tide if indeed it is the issue that's affecting the cane now. It's a potential to be a really big deal on a number of fronts, both on the restoration and protection side in terms of our coastal wetlands, coastal ecology, but also from an agricultural standpoint.
Roseau cane also provides much protection to coastal marsh oil platforms and pipelines.
Roseau cane is a vegetation that's very hardy, very robust, and it really helps slow down coastal erosion. Because it's so woody and has a nice root base, it protects the marsh. And a lot of these marshes are around this oil and gas infrastructure, such as pipelines and wells and platforms. And these platforms and wells in the marsh are designed to be built in wetlands and protected by roseau cane. So as we lose that roseau cane, when we lose it, all that infrastructure is going to be exposed to the Gulf and to wave energies of the Gulf.
But in recent years, an obvious problem is occurring in the growth of roseau cane and is believed to be due to the manifestation of the Roseau Cane Mealy Bug. The most evident area of impact is in the lower Plaquemines Parish area near the mouth of the Mississippi River, where in less than a year, it's believed that over 100,000 acres of roseau has been affected by the scale. Biologists are alarmed at the severity of the scale's impact and are working to find ways to stop its spread.
We're on the Delta National Wildlife Refuge, which is north of the State Wildlife Management Area of Passalute. We're in a small, probably 5-6 acre, which once was 2 years ago this time, a healthy thick stand of roseau cane, which is now starting to revert to open water. You have very sparse vegetation with roseau cane. We're getting some Sagittaria, which is bull tongue or Delta duck potato growing in. We suspect that the scale is probably the main driver to setting this area back.
Here we have this scale. It's native from China. Have it seen also in Japan. And here we just found it in Plaquemines Parish. So what you can see here is will be a large female. As you can see, measures almost half an inch, and is actually a mature female. As you start going up, you have more infestation. So what we notice it happens is here these females will start producing eggs, and then the nymphs, the babies, will start crawling and moving to the next segment of the stem and colonizing it, and then it keeps moving to the upper parts of the plant. So by the end of the growing season, think about October or November, you have all these scales covering this plant. So that may be one of the factors why this plant is dying. Over time, these scales will be depleting the energy of roseau.
The Roseau Cane Mealy Bug is a very new threat to our coast, which brings a lot of questions on how it can be controlled and eliminated.
What we're trying to do, we have a plan it's definitely a plan that is going to work in phases. So the phase one is to understand right now what is the distribution of the scale, what is the impact that it's having in different locations, but at the same time we want to understand whether we can use different varieties of roseau as a potential restoration. Something really interesting that occurs in Plaquemines Parish is that there are 4 varieties of roseau present in this area, and maybe they have some variation in the level of resistance.
Since the discovery of the Roseau Cane Mealy Bug in Lower Plaquemines Parish, it's evident that the scale is spreading through other areas of the state's coast. Some of the most recent developments has led the Louisiana Department of Agriculture and Forestry to deem coastal areas as quarantined and urge that Roseau cane not be moved out of those areas.
But it moves very, very quickly. And of course, we're trying to contain it from moving any further north. There are some parishes that are not infected yet, and we need to contain it because, one, the cost of eradication is going to be quite high, regardless of the method. And when you start looking at the biology of the bug in China, they burn. They just burn the marshes off. Well, that's not an option for us.
In a proactive effort to prevent further spread of the scale west of the Mississippi River, Congress recently allotted nearly $500,000 in grants to Louisiana, money that is dedicated to Roseau cane research in Terrebonne and Lafourche parishes.
A lot of the things that threaten this coastal marshes down here are beyond individual control, but this is one issue where we as individual duck hunters and recreationists in general can play an important role. And the key message that Ducks Unlimited and a lot of the other folks here would want to send to people using this marsh, especially duck hunters, is don't move the Roseau. And you can look at it and you may think it's healthy and not infected, but beneath the leaves this invasive pest may actually be there. So any movement of Roseau out of this area or even from one area to the other in this locale is potentially bad news for the larger system. So the key message is don't move the Roseau. We know.
As our state's biologists work to combat this rapid spreading threat, there are ways that we can help assist in stopping the spread of the Roseau Cane Mealy Bug. First, here is how you identify areas that have been affected. Next, make sure you take precautions to stop the spread of the scale by thoroughly washing your boat before you travel away from marinas, and make sure not to move cane from one area to another.
So the role of the public at this point is really try very hard not to spread this stuff. We were asking boaters to wash down their boats at the marinas before they leave in order to keep from spreading it. That's the biggest thing the public can do. We have a lot of questions we can't answer at this time, and we're learning as fast as we can how to combat this. But right now, to be aware of what's going on and just really help us in not spreading this bug.
If you believe there are areas near you that may have been affected by the Roseau Cane Mealy Bug, it's important that you contact the LSU Ag Center or Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries. Together, we can ensure that our state's coast thrives for future generations.
In 1967, Dutch Stogner realized his dream to run his own meat market. 50 years and 3 generations later, Double D and the Stogner family still operate with Dutch's original commitment to quality. Pick up some Double D sausage today and share your good times with us on Facebook.
Find out if alternative treatment is the answer to your pet's health issues. Contact Dr. G at vetnaturally.com.
Here's how I guarantee my crawfish taste great every time. I use what the pros use. I use Louisiana Fish Fry brand seafood boil. Why do the pros use Louisiana Fish Fry seafood boil?
Because, guys, it has more herbs and spices.
It has a much better flavor.
It's easy, just pour and boil.
Louisiana Fish Fry brand seafood boil. Find the yellow bag, pour and boil for great crawfish every time.
The 2017 hunting season has come and gone, but there's still a chance for youth to rekindle last year's hunting experiences.
Youth Hunter of the Year contest is a collaboration between the Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, the Louisiana Wildlife Federation, and the Louisiana Outdoor Writers Association. And what we do, we will select from the applications that are submitted one male and one female Youth Hunter of the Year.
To enter the Youth Hunter of the Year contest, male and female hunters ages 15 and younger are encouraged to send in a story and photos of their hunting experience.
And they're going to do basically three things. They're going to fill out the application and submit it to us, along with a short narrative or a story about your hunt. Also, any photos that you have, we also want you to send in too. What we're looking for, it's not necessarily somebody who went out and killed the biggest deer or killed the most game. What we're doing is we're looking for a youth who had an enjoyable experience in the outdoors, especially if it was their first hunt, but it doesn't really have to be.
On any given spring day, last year's male winner, Seth Guittardi, can be found on the baseball diamond. But this North Shore pitcher puts his cleats in the closet when it's time to head into the woods.
We got out there late, and then got set up. The turkeys were gobbling by the time we set up, and then my grandpa started calling, and that's when the turkey came in. I mean, we've been hunting before that for a long time, and then we still hunt together now. That was the first turkey I shot, so.
We had a special hunt that morning, and for us to sit down and write down what exactly happened that morning, it has allowed us to relive that over and over again. And I think that anytime that you have a situation with a young person like that, to be able to write a story about it, write it down, immortalize it, so to speak, I would do it every time.
There may have been something special about it because who you were with. You know, just some magic moment about that hunt, the camaraderie, it was with a family member or a good friend. That's the story that we want to hear, and that's what's important to us in this Youth Hunter of the Year contest.
Seth credits his grandfather for his love of the outdoors and success on the hunt.
Well, Seth's always had patience as a young man, and he's able to focus on the task at hand. And I think that that's led to his success in both baseball and turkey hunting.
In addition to the Youth Hunter of the Year, the Louisiana Outdoor Writers Association also annually chooses Angler of the Year and Youth Journalist of the Year.
I really loved fishing. It was important to me, and I knew we couldn't leave it out. It was fun, and I always liked doing it.
And you had an animal friend that was interested in that fish too. Who else was in your story besides the redfish?
It was my kitten.
We really need more participation to ensure the future of hunting and fishing. These days it takes management dollars, it takes a lot of effort to continue to have the habitat that's necessary to produce the fish and wildlife resources that we need. Also, you've got to get kids interested in these at a young age. Statistics show that if they don't start hunting by the age of 9, very few people ever take up the sport. And it's important to keep that going on and on for their kids and for also their grandkids.
The stories and photos that our youth share illustrate how important it is to encourage kids at a young age to develop a passion for the outdoors.
Another important thing is our outdoor writing contest, our photojournalism contest. We need people to replace us who are doing this. It's very important because without us to let people know the information on how to get involved and how wonderful a hobby or a pastime it is, kids will never take an interest in it. And if you don't have an interest in something, you're not going to have an interest in protecting it, conserving it, and promoting it. So it's very important that we bring up the next generation of writers and photographers, particularly kids who will move on into video and the social media, which are the current media and the media of the future. So hopefully we'll get a lot of participation in both our youth journalism and our photo contest, as well as our youth hunters and anglers of the year. Those things are great honors for kids to have. And I was telling someone the other day, it's as much a contest for the parents and the grandparents of the kids who win as it is for the kids.
If you'd like more information on how to get your youth outdoor enthusiasts involved, visit laoutdoorwriters.com and locate the YJC, YAA, or YHA tabs on the top of the page.
Closed captioning made possible by Ceto.com. Become a member.
Here's how I guarantee my crawfish tastes great every time. I use what the pros use. I use Louisiana Fish Fry brand seafood boil. Why do the pros use Louisiana Fish Fry seafood boil?
Because, guys, it has more herbs and spices.
It has a much better flavor.
It's easy, just pour and boil.
Louisiana Fish Fry brand seafood boil. Find the yellow bag, pour and boil for great crawfish every time.
A few weeks ago, you saw us harvest our own crawfish out at Crawfish Haven. We're here in Kaplan with the owner, Barry Toops. Now, this isn't just a place you can come out and harvest your own crawfish. It's also a bed and breakfast.
Correct. Yes.
And you like to make a crawfish breakfast. So that's what we're going to be doing today. And what's something people can try when they come out here?
Well, what we have here is the leftover crawfish from the night before, and we peeled them, and then we're going to make a crawfish omelet with this morning.
So we're here in the kitchen at Crawfish Haven, and we're making a crawfish omelet with Barry Toops. What do we do?
First thing we're going to do is take the onions and saute the onions.
We've got a little bit of olive oil in the pan that's already heated up. Get these nice and tender. Now, while these are heating up, tell folks what else they can experience when they come out here.
One of the things we do here that we offer is Cajun cooking classes. We can cook anything Cajun you want, sauce piquants, gumbos, etouffees.
So a Yankee like me or anyone else can come down here, get your dose of Cajun cooking, and learn how we do it in the South.
Exactly, correct.
And it's not that hard, it's just different seasoning. And we're using some of the crawfish that was harvested prior to this, you know, the ones that maybe we couldn't eat them all, our eyes were bigger than our stomachs. All right, we've got these browning up.
We always boil a little extra.
A little bit extra because you can do a lot with crawfish.
Correct.
What's the most favorite thing people like to make when they take these Cajun cooking classes? What's the most popular dish?
Gumbos and etouffees.
Well, tell me a little bit more about if folks want to book, how do they get a hold of you if they want to make a reservation here?
Well, you can go online. Crawfishhaven.net is one of the ways of finding us. But if you Google crawfish excursions, you can Google crawfishing in Louisiana, and we're usually the first one to pop up.
And you're probably on Facebook too.
We are on Facebook.
So how much crawfish do we have left over here?
We probably got about a pound here, but we're going to do just we're going to do one egg right now, so we're only going to saute a little bit.
Okay.
But not now.
So we've sauteed our onions and heated up our crawfish, whisked and seasoned the eggs. Coming up, we're going to throw it all together right after this break.
Here's how I guarantee my crawfish tastes great every time. I use Louisiana Fish Fry brand seafood boil. Why do the pros use Louisiana Fish Fry seafood boil?
Because the flavor is so good.
It has more garlic, onion, paprika, lemon, and not too much salt.
It has much better flavor.
Louisiana Fish Fry brand seafood boil. Find the yellow bag, and pour and boil for great crawfish every time.
In 1967, Dutch Stogner realized his dream to run his own meat market. 50 years and 3 generations later, Double D and the Stogner family still operate with Dutch's original commitment to quality. Pick up some Double D sausage today and share your good times with us on Facebook.
So we've got a hot pan and we've got all our ingredients mixed up and ready to go. This is where the tricky part comes in because, like myself, a lot of my omelets turned into scrambled eggs with toppings. So we let it firm up a little bit, let the eggs get a little bit of identity here, and we take our delicious Louisiana crawfish, and once this firms up, we're going to put these in. It'll be a hearty omelet, and the onion as well.
Just keep it in the middle.
Looking brown. The anticipation. Oh no!
We got a little bit too much crawfish on this one.
Never such a thing. It's just an extra large omelet. And if it's not an omelet, it's going to be scrambled eggs with deliciousness inside.
We gotta grab a plate.
There we go. It's a little bit full here, and I'm just going to slide it onto the plate. Might open a little bit because we have so much crawfish, but hey, for a first try, not too bad. You can make this out at the camp. I think all your friends and family will enjoy it. Okay, so it's not perfect, but I think pretty good for the first try.
You did a good job.
Yeah, it's filled with crawfish from start to finish, 5 ingredients, about 5 minutes. You can't beat it. Now the true test. It looks delicious, it smells good, and you got your leftovers. Get that crawfish in there. Oh yeah, delicious. Make it at your camp or for friends and family. If you hunt or fish, you really need to check out 20echo.com. It's an app that you can take on the water or on the hunt. It logs all the information. It's got the date, the GPS location, tons of information to log your catch or kill. It's a great thing to have. Check it out at 20echo.com and you'll see it more on Bayou Wild TV.
Here's how I guarantee my crawfish tastes great every time. I use what the pros use. I use Louisiana Fish Fry brand seafood boil. Why do the pros use Louisiana Fish Fry seafood boil?
Because, guys, it has more herbs and spices.
It has a much better flavor.
It's easy, just pour and boil.
Louisiana Fish Fry brand seafood boil. Find the yellow bag, pour and boil for great crawfish every time.
Hi, I'm Donnie Rouse. There are a lot of different reasons to shop at Rouse's.
It's the people. Everybody that works here is just so nice.
Our stores get deliveries 7 days a week.
They have such a wide variety at Rouse's. Everything's in stock. I mean, everything.
We use Rouse family recipes and ingredients found right here in the store.
It's the food. Rouse's food tastes like homemade.
And they're local.
Like us.
We also have great prices.
That's the difference Rouse's makes.
Thanks for watching another edition of Bayou Wild. As a reminder, you can follow our shows on YouTube. Just look for our Bayou Wild TV YouTube channel. All of the episodes air at 7 o'clock, the same as they do on CST, and you can find it all online. We also have social media, Bayou Wild Instagram and Facebook, so check those out as well.
Coming up next week, you've heard the old saying, you know, you can take a sports announcer out of the booth, but you know the rest of the story.
Look at the way he's playing that. Using his body, using his former Marine, you know, so he's got the muscles it takes to muscle in a big redfish, which I fully expect him to do. It's like a crab walk. He's using the whole boat, isn't he? Can any of the rest of us get in the water here? Because he's going from bow to stern.
I spoke to a source, Don, earlier in the week. He told me since his retirement, all he's done is fish, and his whole goal is to beat you and I. So, you know, that source seems to be accurate.
I think I did that in the first half hour, didn't I? Well, Don, Christian's pants broke my concentration, to be honest with you. And so when he arrived in those, and the little feather boa that went with it, I mean, it took my mind, I need to concentrate out there, and I think you would agree, it was very hard to concentrate with Christian alongside.
If you can't wait till the show airs, catch us on radio, Saturday mornings, 5 to 7 a.m. on the Outdoors with Don Dubuque Radio Network. See you next week with another edition of Bayou Wild TV.